Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon. So Matt over at ADHD Whiskey, every so often he puts out a video of bottles to not buy. And I did a video recently based on one of his that he did like 3 years ago, where he dissed Old Forester single barrel and the single barrel bourbon. And it turns out he was pretty much right? It did not do well in a blind, which was a surprise to me because I liked that bottle. So he did another one of these videos about a year ago, and in that one of the bottles he dissed was Elijah Craig Toasted. Now, at the time that he recorded that, this was like semi-allocated, right? It was, people were buying this for like 120, 140. It was really hard to find. About 3-4 months ago, it started to become more available. I managed to pick it up for $60. I thought that was a great deal. You know what? The price of this has continued to go down. It's now down to $47. So it's kind of interesting. That kind of tells you probably what the market's thinking of it. But I feel sorry for those people that bought it for $140. That being said, I do like this bottle. You can see I drank a fair amount of it. It's pretty decent. It's not as good as Elijah Craig Single Barrel by any means, right? Elijah Craig Single Barrel is one of my favorites. This one is not necessarily one of my favorites, but it is a decent bottle. One of the nice things about it is it's got that marshmallow note that you pretty much only get in a toasted product. So I've enjoyed it. That being said, I'm not sure it's going to do well in this blind today because I got it up against a pretty stiff competition here. So I put together a collection of other toasted and double oaked products. You might be surprised to see Glen's Creek products here. I had heard that these OCD5 and Cafe au Lait and pretty much all of their products, they are done in a toasted barrel. That's part of what helps make this flavor profile. I was able to confirm that on Glen Creek's website. In fact, another little interesting thing about these two products is that these two actually have the same mash bill as well. The only difference between OCD5 and Cafe au Lait is that with Cafe au Lait, they caramelize the malted barley before they distill it. So that's what gives it the coffee chocolate flavor. So beyond that, we have here 3 more double oak products. Very popular, probably need no introduction. I like them all. In fact, I really was looking forward to doing this blind because I got to tell you, I got quite a few of my favorite bottles up here. I love Cafe au Lait. I like the Woodford Double Oaked, 1910, the Sagamore Double Oaked. I mean, these are some of my favorites. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to really enjoy this one. All right, enough of the introduction. Let's get into the whiskey. So for the blind, this is going to be bottle 1 through 6. And then I've got 6 glasses here that are marked with stickers on the bottom. Otherwise, I'm going to refer to them as A to F as I work through this. So it should be fun. Put these over here. Get it kind of out of the way. All right. These have been mixed up several times already. All right. Good old 6-way blind. Gonna bring it back a little bit. Class A. This one's very sweet, caramely, got a great nose, a little bit of a confectionery sugar, almost a honey as well. A little bit of fruit to it. It's very bourbon, very Granted, 5 of the 6 bottles here are bourbon. I do have 1 rye in here. Oh, I do get a hint of rye notes in this. I don't know. Smells lovely to me. Kind of on the oaky side, perhaps. But then, that's what you'd figure with this lineup. Oh, wow. Letter B. Smells completely different. Smells... chocolatey. Maybe some coconut. Maybe some coffee. Wow. With maybe some caramel, maybe some burnt caramel over the top of it. That's just delicious smelling right there. Oh, God. This is so good. Talk about coconut. This takes that coconut to another level. It's also a little bit fruity, I think. Higher notes than the one I was just smelling. Wow. Wow. Oh, now this one here is a letdown. This one is not... So these two had a very strong nose. This one had a pretty strong nose. This letter D is kind of weak in comparison. Has a little caramel to it. Get some banana in it. I get some breadiness to it. Maltiness. You know, when you know a lot of these bottles as well as I do, it's hard because you keep trying, your mind keeps wanting to think, oh, which bottle do you think this is? Which bottle do you think this is? And I keep trying to not do that because usually I'm wrong. So, and I don't want that to taint my thoughts anyways. Yeah. It's pleasant. It's just not nearly as strong. Letter E. Now this one. I think I know which one this is. I just had that lecture about how I'm not trying to do that, but I get raisins, plums, prunes. And if you are familiar with these bottles, you know which one that means. Yeah. Dark fruits. With a little bit of like a granular sugar to go with it. Also a little bit of a chocolate undertone. Smells very good. All right, letter F. Oh God, this one's really good too. Strong nose. Might be slightly stronger than any of the others. This one might be the strongest nose. Oaky. Sweet. Like a little bit of vanilla caramel mix. A little bit of a coconut type of a nose on it. Kind of getting that toasty vibe to it, although that, could be double oak. Also has kind of a... Well, none of these have been finished in, anything like a port or anything. That I believe. I don't remember that being the case. Just checking this one to make sure. This one almost does have a almost like a pork cast kind of a nose to it. All right. Other than D, these were all fantastic. D was a little bit of a letdown. I don't know which bottle that is. My mind wants to say that would be the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, but who knows, right? Who knows? Back to A. This is the one. It just really smells like an oaky bourbon. That's what it smells like. It doesn't. It doesn't have the twisting of flavors that you get in some of these others. I mean, yeah, you get the caramel. You get some cinnamon. You get some nutmeg. A little bit of allspice coming in at the end. Allspice finish. In fact, even almost moving towards more of a Chinese 5-spice. A little bit bitier finish. Starting to move into that direction. A little bit of vanilla, or yeah, kind of a vanilla on top. Maybe almost a vanilla ice cream. It's really sweet on top. There's a touch of fruit in there somewhere. It's a light fruit. Like pears or peaches. Then you mix it with that cinnamon nutmeg mix. Which kind of gives you that a bit of a graham crackery kind of a note to it. It's good. It's fairly complex. The bitey oak has actually subsided, and it has lessened. So, it doesn't get overtaken by, a real oaky finish. This is a really nice pour. I don't know how well it'll stand up to these other ones, but if you're looking for an oaky bourbon, that's a good one. All right, let her be. Oh God, I do have to say though, this one here, it's a little bit chemically. I hate to say that, because on one hand, I mean, this is just absolutely fabulous. This is fantastic. It's a strong nose. It's got that coconut, maybe chocolatey. But I hate to say this. There's Trenton over there at SLB. He likes to talk about his Sharpie. I think I get a little Sharpie in this one. It comes from that chemicaliness note that's kind of almost like there's a little bit of a chemical slick over the top. It almost seems like. Anyway. It's still really tasty. Great nose. It's very sweet. Like confectionery sugar with some caramel. A little bit of 5-spice on the back end, but not heavy at all. Very light. And then it's got a chocolatey flavor in the middle. It is, I do have to say, the palate is weaker than the nose. This had a really pretty strong nose. On the palate, it's kind of, in the middle somewhere. Sorry, left my water over there. All right. Letter C. This one's beautiful. Coconut, chocolate, Do I get a touch of coffee? Kind of more along the lines of a latte. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, this. Yeah. It's a latte. It's a vanilla latte with some hot fudge drizzled on it. Yes. I think I know which one this is, but I could be wrong. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I just love this. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? That's what it is. It is a vanilla latte with a little hot fudge on it. I don't know. That's what it is. I'm not finding necessarily any other notes. There was a touch of a little bit of oak spice at the end, at first, and then that kind of dissipated. It's very light, but it is kind of there in the background. That was just fantastic. All right. Letter D. Yeah, I mean, this one has a nice nose. It's just weaker. Just not nearly as strong as the others. And the palate is weak as well. This tastes watered down. Now, I'm all for 90 proof, 100 proof whiskey. I like stuff around that area. You know, for a while I was on a kick where everything had to be barrel proof. And yes, you can always add your own water. But I kind of started to realize that 100 proof stuff is pretty nice. Kind of a happy medium. So this, on the other hand, this, though, goes too far. This tastes a little watered down, which makes me think that it is 80, 90 proof, somewhere in that range, which I don't think there's anything up here that's 80 proof. I think this is in the 90s. I've got several items in here that are 100. Otherwise, you know, I get like a burnt caramel, cinnamon, nutmeg. Kind of your standard double oak notes, right? A little bit of allspice in the background, on the finish. It's a bit of a dry oak to it, which is the first one I've said that about. This is kind of drying. It's kind of making my lips smack. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that pour. It just seems a little weak. All right, letter E. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I know which bottle this is. Prunes and plums and raisins. This is really, obviously, it's very tasty. It's got a good nose. It's decently strong on the nose, decently strong on the palate. Very tasty. It's got, in addition to the fruit, which is very forward, it's very fruit forward. It also has a little bit of chocolate underneath, and it's got not so much cinnamon, but it's got the nutmeg. Yeah, I got a fair amount of the nutmeg. And then there's a sweetness on top. But it's like I said, it's fruit forward, so the sweetness is kind of in the background. Let's call it granular sugar. Like you got a bowl of prunes and plums and you sprinkled some sugar over it. And maybe a little nutmeg. Why you would sprinkle nutmeg on your fruit, I don't know. But that's what it tastes like. In fact, it even goes farther than that. I would say that it goes beyond nutmeg into a true nuttiness. I could almost say that there's a hazelnut to this. Sorry, I came back to E because it's that good. So, yeah, I would say that not only is it nutmeg, it's also hazelnut. It's kind of getting into that nutty realm, in addition to the fruit. But boy, prunes galore. I think the lasting note, as everything else dies away, what I'm left with is that plum to prune kind of a note that's left as the finish. And it lingers a long time. All right, letter F. Now this one, I would agree, again, that this one might actually be the strongest nose. Smells graham cracker, it smells cinnamon, it smells maybe a little bit of allspice in there. A little bit of sweetness above it. Maybe a touch of fruit. Now, that's interesting. So, the palate is different than what I expected from the nose. Okay, well, I think I might have a reasoning for that, but because I'm getting cloves. And I'm getting a little mint. In addition to a chocolatiness and an oakiness. Yeah. In fact, this chocolate's almost more of a milk chocolate and almost more of the almost like a Dove. It's very creamy, but yet at the same time, it's not like one of those nice, more natural chocolates. It's not like those. It's more of the processed chocolates, but yet it's nice and creamy. So it's not the crap chocolate like, say, Hershey's. It's more like a Dove chocolate. Why I get that out of this, I don't know. But yeah, I get a lot of cloves. I get a lot of mint. I get a lot of starting to move into a lemongrass. In addition to that chocolate and that oakness. So I think I might know which one this is. And that would kind of explain why the palate was so much different than the nose, what I was expecting from the nose, I should say. Because if this is what I think it is, so I've got 5 bourbons and 1 rye. And I didn't realize that the rye in this until I started tasting it on the palate. I could be wrong. I'm wrong lately, but that's what I think that one is. All right, now it's time to actually get down to business here and eliminate one of these. And my first time through, I hate to say it, but D and A were probably my weakest ones, right? So I'm going to start hitting those. You know, I have said that this bottle has a marshmallow note. And in the back of my mind, I've been like, okay, where am I going to find the marshmallow note? And of course, when you do that, your mind starts to play tricks with you. And I have had the thought of possibly finding a marshmallow note in a couple of these glasses. Because if I think about it, I can envision it in several of these glasses. But I can envision it in either of these two, the A and the D. But in particular, though, I don't know. But I have to say, wherever it is, whichever one happens to be the Elijah Craig, I'm not getting an overpowering marshmallow. There's a couple of them that, like I said, that I could picture it in there. I think maybe, but I've been unwilling to kind of jump out and say it. And these two glasses both are, I could picture it. I could kind of get a marshmallow. But it could just be my head thinking about it, right? So I'm just going to try to concentrate on the glass. Okay. I'm not sold whether or not D is, or A is the second one out, but I am going to take letter D out first. So now I'm going to go down the line here and try these, mix them up here. Oh, that one's great. Good, but a touch astringent compared to that one. That's the fruity one. Boy, I mean, it just isn't living up to the others. Yeah. So A has to be the next one out in second to last place. So while I got to say a couple things quick before we get too far, put it on record here. Letter D, it's a good pour. Everything up here is a good pour. It's a good pour. It's not a bad bottle. It just doesn't have as much complexity and isn't as powerful. And in fact, actually kind of a negative here, it even tastes a little watered down. So D was noticeably in last place. A, going out here in second to last place, it's a good bottle. It's good. It's just a classic bourbon that is a little oaky, which you would think that from what I got here. It tastes good. It's a good bourbon. Good oaky bourbon. That being said, there's other stuff up here that's really, really tasty. So that one goes out second to last. So I don't want anybody to think badly of whatever bottle this is, because it's pretty darn good. All right, I just got 4 bangers here that I got to figure out. All right. All right. Letter B goes out next. So, sorry, I got to reset the palate here. A little bit of hard cheese. Hard cheese is awesome when you're tasting lots of bourbons. It doesn't mess up your palate. Whatever you do, don't have salt. Salt will mess up your blind big time. Go with the cheese. Hard cheese in particular. All right. Letter B. It's just not, like I had mentioned before, there's got a little bit of astringency to it. There's a little bit of overly oaky, a little bit of astringency that the other three don't have at all. These three here, and I think I know which three these are. I am not as confident with these three and which one is which, but I think I could tell you exactly which one these three are. And these three are fantastic. And they don't have any kind of harshness from oak. And each one has a great set of flavor on its own. It's really going to come down to personal preference, because these three are bangers. And I'm going to tell you right now what I think they are. I think letter C is Cafe au lait. I think letter E is OCD 5. And I think letter F is the Sagamore Double Oak. Because I get a vanilla latte here. I get prunes and plums here. And I get rye notes here, and it's the only rye, right? So, and the thing is that I also happen to know that all three of those bottles are really good. And damn, they are. So I think that's what these three are. I'm not sure what those three are, but I'm pretty sure I know what these three are. Now I gotta choose. How do you choose? They each have their own attributes. They're equally strong on the nose. They're equally strong on the palate. Granted, maybe this one was a touch more on the nose. On the palate, they're all equally strong. Do you like the coffee? Do you like the darker fruits? Or do you like the rye? It's really what it comes down to. All right, here's my ruling. Wait a minute. Got to do one more round. Okay, here it is. I think I'm being influenced by the fact that there's a lack of fruitiness out here. I think if I had other things in the mix, my order in these might be different. But I'm really liking the fruit in this lineup. This lineup has a lack of fruit. I'm really liking it. I'm going to put letter F out fourth, or in third place. I'm going to put C out next, and I'm going to give E the win. So, last place. Let's see how this goes. Last place was, holy shit, number 6, Woodford Double Oak. I love this bottle. This was my first bottle I ever got that was double oaked. It was, oh my God. So I just absolutely loved it. I went through about half the bottle, and then I kind of moved on to other things. And I haven't really touched this bottle in, I don't know, it's probably been 6 months since I've touched this bottle. No dust on it. I guess our filtration system's doing the trick, but. So, anyways, Woodford Reserve, last place. That means that Elijah Craig Toasted beat something, right? Letter A. Also not Elijah Craig. Old Forester, 1910. Are you kidding me? Like I said, it's a good bottle. I was saying that about this one. I was disappointed with D, which was the Woodford. But I said about A, which is the 1910, that it's a good bottle. It's just a straight up good bourbon that's a little oaky, right? If you're looking for an oaky bourbon, this is it. It's good. It's really good. It doesn't have anything else about it. It's just a straight up really good oaky bourbon. That went out in 5th place. I gotta try to get this in the screen here. All right. In 4th place, letter B. All right, there it is. Elijah Craig Toasted. Now, if you would have told me that Elijah Craig Toasted was gonna beat 2 of these bottles, well, I probably would have said it would probably be these 2 because I didn't know them as well. But I'm stunned. I am stunned that Elijah Craig Toasted finishes in 4th place. All right, in 3rd place, wow. I've got 2 of them mixed up. I told you. Personally, I don't see how. But according to this, that's Cafe au lait. Yeah. I swear that I get rye notes in this. So this is why you shouldn't get ahead of yourself. This is why you shouldn't. All right, 2nd place, Sagamore. So I got these 2 reversed somehow. I mean, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's number 5. I gotta tell you, I don't get rye notes out of this one at all. I get rye notes here. I don't get rye notes here. I get chocolatiness. A little coffee. And sweetness. I don't know how I mixed those 2 up, but I did. Because I poured it myself and I know. And the winner, which could not be mistaken, because in this lineup, there's only one that's got raisins, plums, and prunes. Number 2, OCD, number 5. That is good. All right. So, this is my lineup. Let me do a little housekeeping here. So this is my lineup. Blows me away. I am stunned that Woodford Reserve Double Oak, which was, like I said, my first Double Oak product, and I just absolutely fell in love with this bottle. And granted, it kind of got stuffed in the back corner of my shelf, and I kind of forgot about it for a while. But nonetheless, I have an affinity for this bottle. And it finished dead last. In fact, it wasn't even close. This one is the one that seemed a little watered down. It is 90.4 proof. So some of these others are, most of these others are around 100. Although I think this one here is 94 proof. This one's 93. I think this is 100. No, it's 106. This one's 96.6. And this one is 107. Oh, sorry, it's 100 proof. 100 proof exactly. So this one would be the proofiest, 106, but everything's kind of in a range here. There's nothing super proofy. Yet despite that, this Woodford Reserve, really underperformed. I am stunned that this bottle did as well as it did. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that what Matt was thinking, Matt from ADHD, I'm sure what he was thinking when he dissed this bottle is that all these people were out there buying this thing for $120, $140, and he's like, hey, it ain't worth that. I'm sure that's what he was thinking when he dissed this bottle. And you know what? It's clearly not nearly as good as Elijah Craig Single Barrel. So, and there's a reason that this bottle has now dropped all the way down to $47. You can go buy this thing for $47. So, but still, I mean, look at this. I would have never guessed that it would beat 1910. I also cannot believe that I mixed these two bottles up. But I did. Somehow I did. And I did not think I was going to pick OCD 5 as number one, but today that's the winner. So there we go. I hope you liked my blind and maybe learned a few things about these bottles. So, peace out.